If anybody's ever kept a young bearded dragon, then they will know just how much they can eat. I mean, Char, my bearded dragon here, can go through about 3 boxes of insects a fortnight, and with boxes of insects costing on average about £2, that can get really quite expensive quite fast. Now, I did know about this before I got him, and so when I got him in June, I had already decided that I was going to try breeding some insects, and in today's video, I'm going to show you what I've been doing with that and how I've been getting on. So let's get straight into the video. The first type of insect that I planned on breeding were dubia roaches. Now, dubia roaches, or dubia cockroaches to give them the more full name, are one of the healthiest insects that you can offer to a reptile because they have a really high protein content and also a relatively low fat content. And not only that, they're also really easy to work with because they don't jump, they don't really smell very bad, they don't chirp like crickets do, so they're all round good eggs, to be honest. And in this container is my dubia colony. All this is a plastic storage box. I used like a little blade to cut out a hole in the lid and then I siliconed on some insect mesh. Now, although it is insect mesh, I did do the same for like a big cricket box I had, and they were jumping up and hanging on the underside of this and they actually chewed through. So do just be careful what mesh you've got, that the insects you're keeping can't touch it, because they're probably going to get out, but that's not really a problem for roaches because they can't jump. But anyway, I have put newspaper around this box because dubias do typically like to be kept in the dark. That's how they just feel comfortable. So I've done that, but let's take a look inside. Now, if you've ever watched a video like this before with people with dubia roach colonies, you might be used to seeing them just sort of crawling all over everything. There's just like a complete black mass where the dubias are because they have that many. But this is a relatively fresh colony. It's only about 2 months old, so I haven't got that many yet, although I have been having some success, which I'll talk about in a sec. But the setup, I've got loads of sort of egg cartons and kitchen roll tubes and some bits of packaging and that, just to create extra surfaces for them to climb over. Down here you'll see I've got a bowl with water crystals in it. I've got some wheat germ pondfish food pellets scattered about because the pondfish never really eat those, so I thought I'd just donate them to the insects. And I've also got some dried out bits of veg, like veg scraps in here, that they do eat as well. Now, if you're observant, you might notice that there's a little wire just coming down here, and that is actually a thermostat probe. So one thing that lots of people don't realise is that insects for reptiles really ought to be heated, and in the case of dubias, they're not going to breed unless you heat them. So I actually have a heat mat on the bottom of this enclosure set to 30 degrees, and that is the probe for it. I'm now going to have a root about in all of this stuff and see if I can find some dubias to show you. So let's take a look at that. So this is a dubia cockroach. This is actually a female. I've got 2 in this box. I'll show you the other one in a moment because that one's a bit more exciting. But this is what they look like. Here's my hand for reference. That's not quite as big as they get. The males do get a bit longer and they have wings, but rest assured they can't fly. They can just sort of drop off stuff and fall gracefully if you like. But that is a female anyway, and in this box we also do have a tiny little dubia nymph. This little nymph that you can see scurrying about here is much smaller than the female, the adult female I've just showed you. As you can see next to my hand, it is absolutely tiny, and this is the produce of the breeding project. So I have had quite a lot of success, and there are quite a lot of nymphs running around in my enclosure now, so hopefully this will take off and I'll have far more in the future. But yeah, as you can see, the dubia roaches are doing quite well, and I'll show you them again in a couple of months, and hopefully the colony will be much bigger. Now, as well as trying to breed dubia roaches, I have actually been trying to breed mealworms. The success here hasn't been as good as with the roaches, but I will tell you what I've been doing with them. So in this box here, I've just got some coconut fibre substrate, and I have some darkling beetles, which are the beetles that the mealworms turn into. And I was hoping that they'd breed in here and there'd be lots of mealworms going round by now, but there's only a couple from a few months ago when I started this. I've actually had this going for quite a long time now and I've had no success. But over here in the box with the oats, I have inadvertently actually had quite a lot of success. So in here I did just have some mealworms, and then they were turning into beetles, and I was transferring most of the beetles into here. But I had left some in here, and then I fed them off to Char the bearded dragon after just before I was going on holiday. But then I actually never got to clean this out before I went away, because I was in quite a bit of a rush. And then when I came back, I've actually found that there are loads and loads and loads of tiny mealworms in here. If you look closely, you can kind of see them. There's some right there that you can see quite well. And if I shake this box about a bit more, you will see that there are absolutely hundreds of these tiny little mealworms in here. So it seems that I've had success out of this when I haven't been trying to, and the coconut fibre method really has not worked for me. So what I'm planning on doing is keeping this and growing the mealworms out in it into beetles, which shouldn't take too long because they do grow quite fast. And then I will use this other box to hold the beetles in and just have some oats in it. And then the mealworms left in here I'll use as food, and then I'll have more babies coming in here. So I'll cycle between the two boxes and hopefully it'll become self-sustaining. So there we have it. That's what I've been doing with insects, because I'm really trying to reduce costs as much as possible, because there's no point paying like £2 a week just for boxes of insects when I could be breeding my own healthier insects at home and not shelling out half as much the amount of money for it. So if you're interested in doing the same, and I would really recommend it, then hopefully this video has helped you out on where you can start or make a start on breeding your own insects. And hopefully when we revisit this in a couple of months, I'll have a lot to update you on. Anyway, I hope that you have all enjoyed the video, and if you'd like to see videos similar to this in the near future, then do just subscribe and you should be notified every time I upload a video. But yeah, I'll see you in the next video. Bye guys.